Hello, this is Tyra Hargrove. I am the homeschool expert, but really, I'm just a mom who loves supporting moms. I love being a mom. And at this point, my oldest son is 22. My younger son is about to turn 20. So just being a mom, I'm a veteran mom, I guess, is why I told you how old they are. Though, there's women who are older and been through other life events with their children, such as their children having children, which that's not something that I've experienced. But I am a veteran mom and just want to be here to support other moms wherever you are, whatever stage you are at. And this morning, I was taking time to journal and I wrote about how I felt yesterday. Just maybe in the last month, I've been feeling like I'm finally getting used to being an empty nester. And this week, I even heard another term, a free birdie, but being an empty nester. And it feels good because, it's been 2 years and I have just really felt out of pocket. And I know that I had a very interesting start to empty nester life. So maybe for me, it's been a little bit more challenging than other women. But, well, I'll tell you why, just in case you don't know, it may be a little bit more challenging for me because it was such a shift in my identity. So, that's the thing that I'm recognizing now that I am 2 years out, how much our identity is wrapped up in being a mom. And so once we're still a mom, but we're not the kind of mom who is caregiving for our children all of the time. So we have to do something with all the energy that it takes to pour into our children. We have to figure out, what am I going to do with this, with my time? Who am I now that I'm no longer, my schedule isn't being dictated so much, or my mind isn't so occupied with caring for my children. Who am I? That is the issue that I've had. And I think for me, it's been exacerbated, this process, because of a number of reasons. First of all, I was a homeschooling mom. I was a stay-at-home mom and homeschooling mom for the entirety of both of my sons' lives. I did have part-time jobs, but make no mistake about it, I was not working more than, you know, it w 10 hours at the most. It wasn't even 10 hours a week. I just really went and taught fitness and dance classes a couple of times a week. That was my part-time job, okay? So just so much care, and I always had jobs where my kids would come with me, so it was like until they got older, once they could stay at home, oh my gosh, did not take them anywhere I didn't have to. But yes, when they were younger, I still had to watch them, it was like always on, always on. So caring for my children all the time. And then I was, like I said, a dance and fitness instructor. And by the time the pandemic hit in 2020, I was already trying to figure it out, an exit plan. But the pandemic took that away. I took that as an opportunity to say, okay, well, I don't care what happens. And there were times when I was weak. Like, it would be so much easier for me just to go start teaching dance and fitness again, making money this way, than to try to figure out a new way, which is entrepreneurship. But I do still work at the nonprofit where I've been for over a decade at this point. But I decided I would not go back to teaching dance and fitness as my career. And so that identity, oh, there you go. You just heard a timer go off. I have timers because, yes, uh, we need this kind of structure. But anywho, I had Yes, came out of that, and so that identity was taken of being a dance and fitness instructor. And of course, the pandemic, it just really redefined and reshaped a lot about our lives. And so I have taken this time to be pretty much just like an introvert. I go nowhere. For the most part, I don't hang out with anybody. I just kind of feel like I've needed this time, but that may have exacerbated it also a little bit. Just feeling so out of pocket and not knowing what to do, working from home. And so yeah. And then, yeah, okay. So I'm gonna start with that. So those things were taken versus maybe somebody like, let's say I hadn't given up the dance and fitness. Maybe I was more than happy to continue to teach and could have done more, right? Maybe if you come and kind of leaning towards the homeschooling moms, but even some of the homeschooling moms may have a career that they have a little bit of a connection to, but it's just if you have something that you are doing before your children graduate and go off to college, then it may not be as big of a reset, but there's no way I can believe, even of the women who work full time outside of the home, if you don't have to care for your children anymore, there's still this big gaping space that every mom that occupied every mother's consciousness, that we have to figure out, what am I going to do with this? And so for me, and I see here in the entrepreneur space, there are women who have programs that are actually geared toward empty nester women. This is a really big deal. Now, there's some that are for empty nester women who have landed themselves in a situation where they thought they were going to be free and they're no longer free. I don't know that, and that's for somebody else to tell that story. Because from what I can tell, it carries a whole nother level of, like, something you've got to work through. I'll put it that way. For those of us who are over here having to rework our lives, it's whole programs. People are coming up with ways to help us. That's how significant this is, because nobody really tells us. If I don't know what this is, but we've got to do a better job as women of talking to one another about what's to come, and also honoring each woman's experience. Because if you've listened to anything that I've talked about being an empty nester, I am vehemently opposed to this notion of, why are you crying? You have your time back. Get over it. Because it's not like that for everybody. And everyone's experience needs to be respected. And so, what I have begun to realize, number one, I decided I'm just going to be sad. This was when it first started. I'm just going to be sad. I'm going to be, I'm going to grieve. I missed my kids so much. I love my kids. I love their personalities. We have fun together. Me, my sons, and my husband as a collective, we are a fun family unit. I just missed them so, so much. And so, I just allowed myself. And initially, I was a workaholic on my business and just realized this is not sustainable. And then it made me not really want to be a business owner, because it was just too much. Just taking all that focus that I used to put in my children and just throw it into my business. And it's not sustainable, especially since it's online and just sitting down too much, or not exercising, not focused on the house, nothing. But that's my journey, and that's just how I dealt with it. It's no judgment. But I realized, no, I just need to go on ahead and be sad and grieve. And so now it's been about 2 years since, yeah, it's been 2 years since my younger son graduated. This is May of 2023. And like my older son doesn't come home at all. He hasn't been home in a year. It's almost a year. It'll be a year by the time June rolls around. He will not have been home for a year, and in that year, I've only seen him one time. He's in the Coast Guard and just kind of been on the go. He lives in Puerto Rico, so just like picking up and going to visit is not the easiest thing. And but my husband and I did. I found out he was going to be in South Carolina. We went and visited him, but for the most part, you know what? My oldest son, living his life, right? Thankfully, my children text me or, we sometimes we FaceTime or whatever. And my younger son mostly stays, you know, in the city where he goes to college, which is about 90 minutes away. He mostly stays there. He's an artist and there's times he needs to be in the studio working on his art versus others who have maybe a major where they can go anywhere and study. But for the artists, they have to have that studio time. So he mostly stays where he is. And, I'll go visit if every now and again, but for the most part, I'm just letting him live his life. So yeah, just really, I'm here. My husband and I are back to being a couple. It's like, okay. It seems like one day we were a couple and then we were parents. And even though we're still parents, we're living the life of a couple because it's just us here. And so getting back used to it just being me and Craig, it's like, oh, okay. Okay, he's done it faster than me. For I've had to really adjust because my life, just the day-to-day operations and routines is just so different. But it's like, okay, we're getting us a nice little rhythm and we constantly are talking about, hey, we 50 plus now. We got to stick together and we got to do what it takes to stay healthy. And we got to cheer each other on and support one another and figuring out what kinds of things do we want to do. Like where do we want to go hang out or whatever. And so, but then there's this other part over here for me of what do I do for fun? What am I doing here? So one of the things that I love that I've picked up is the belly dance fitness. I'm not calling myself a belly dancer. There's a format that I found called Sharky. Actually, during the pandemic, I got certified in another format called Rock the Bar. So just using the belly dance, I guess I'll say just using belly dance to get healthier and more fit, but it works my body in a way that I enjoy, and it includes a dance style that works for me. So that's one of the things I've been doing is just really getting into belly dance fitness and just exploring, my different my Afro styles that I love, finding ways to channel that. And yesterday when I went to the store, I decided, you know what? I really want to get into journaling more. And so for business, I've been journaling quite a bit and find that it helps me immensely. Even though I have journals from when I was in my 20s, I don't remember if I journaled a lot as a little girl. It seems like I journaled some as a little girl, but I for sure have journals from when I was in my 20s. It's something that I've always done. And it's something that I love to do inside of my coaching programs. And I was a part of a journaling, I don't know, like collective, I guess you could say. It wasn't coaching, but we got together and we journaled. And I think it was for about 3 months. Oh my gosh, that just really it made me feel healthier to journal daily. It's this book called Morning Pages. I actually never did read the book. Um, I just used the concept of waking up in the morning and journaling and just kind of getting my thoughts out on paper. And For my group coaching, am working on creating this journal that help the women to log because I'm all about women's empowerment. And it's like, I want you to journal or have a place for you to collect all the wisdom that comes to you so that you don't forget it. And it becomes almost like your own, not becomes, it is that woman's own special, like, wisdom book. And it was like, sometimes we feel like the internet is like really listening to us because I saw and I'm gonna have to pull it up. It was a video about, I think it's called a collection book. I don't even know how this came up because I have not, let's see, collection book. I don't even know how this video popped up, but it came up in my thread and I thought, what is this lady talking about? And so what it turned out to be was or is a book that, just like what I was saying, she said that she does journaling, she loves journaling, and she had to, well, she learned about a like a style of journaling where it's not just where you're putting your ideas, it's totally separate from that. It's like when you have a quote you want to remember, something that you like, it's a collective of guidance. And I had been working on trying to figure out how to do that, but it was like, and it just never dawned on me. Because I have one, I have several like that. I'll start a notebook and I'll start putting in there things like for business that I don't want to forget, or if it's something for my spirituality, I have this, but I never just thought, just get one big one and keep it until you run out and then you can start a new one. But she inspired me so much that I thought that's what I'm gonna do. So that was one of the things that I did last night when I was at the store. I was like, oh, let me go get a journal so that I can start this. It's a collection book, I think is what she called it. And so, oh no, commonplace book. I found the video. A commonplace book. Yes, that's it. Commonplace book. So, I'm gonna type this in. Commonplace book. And so what ended up happening when I went to the store though was I found a journal that was about writing down things in my life. And I thought, you know what? I could take the time to pen some things that maybe I want to remember, but perhaps maybe my sons will cherish once I pass. And so, yeah, I said, let me go on ahead and grab this journal. And then I was like, you know what? I think I want to try journaling as a hobby. And what I want to do is to create the commonplace books. I'm going to create one for my business, one for uh, spirituality, I guess is how I'll describe it, personal development, spirituality. And then I'm going to journal with this book that has all kinds of questions that it asks and just make it fun. And so, yeah, just the other thing that's coming to me is how I keep having these moments of awakening, thinking, "Oh, wait a minute. I don't have to rush. I can just walk into a store and take my time and look around." I remember doing this when I was, before I had children. I could just go to the bookstore. I would go to the bookstore and just look at books all day long. Um, Books a Million, my favorite bookstore. I so love Books a Million, and I would just go and look. Or I remember when I was working for the state, there was a friend of coworker, and we would go look at these special stores. They weren't really antique, but kind of sort of in that vein of antique, specialty, really quaint. Oh man, we would have the best time in Nashville just looking at all of these different stores. hanging out, I forgot all about that. And so now I get to figure out what that looks like for me. I love hanging out with ladies who want, have an online business. So a lot of my relationships are online. And then I'm thinking maybe I'll find some people who I can connect with about maybe going for walks. I think really what I want to do is join a fitness class because I don't like getting too caught up in, if I'm trying to work out, I don't want to get so caught up and we're not really working out. It's just that I know me, I can talk, and I know other people, they can talk. I just want to work out. I want a workout community or whatever. So working on that. So yeah, that's what I'll share today. That I feel like I've turned a corner and am headed in a good direction. I love being an online business coach, not business coach, an online life coach, and helping my business to continue to grow and develop, to hopefully eventually do retreats in person or have, occasional times where we get together in person and meet. So, yeah, excited about that. Feeling good about empty nester life, even though it's not all clear, feeling better about it. So, just grant yourself a lot of grace if you feel a little bit lost and uncertain about what it means. It's just important for us to give ourselves that opportunity to be present to just whatever is there. Self compassion is something else that I've gotten really big into. So having a lot of compassion for yourself, whatever your process looks like, and being okay with life feeling a little bit flat until you can find that joy, find that thing that brings you joy. And, I'm okay with nothing will ever replace the joy I had in being mom to my children when they were minors. Nothing will ever replace that. However, um, yeah, I'm 50 at the recording of this video, I'm 53 years old. I'm the youngest I'm ever gonna be again. I'm getting ready to enjoy my life. And I hope the same for you. All right, thank you. Take care. Peace.